Hello. A number of our students have questions about the basics of electricity and the such like, and it's one of those things that can confuse a lot of people. The problem with electricity is you can't really see it. Well, if you can see it, it's gone quite badly wrong. But generally speaking, you can't see it, so it can be a little bit difficult to understand. So in this video, I'm just going to explain what volts, amps and ohms mean. That's it. In other videos, we'll go a little bit further and explain what we can do with them, which is exciting stuff. So the first thing we're going to talk about is volts. Now, volts is a bit like the electrical equivalent of pressure. It gives you the potential for doing some actual useful work. But nothing will happen unless there's a circuit for it to flow round. Now, circuit is a really important idea. It comes from the word circle. And without a complete circuit where you've got connections from the positive all through the different components and back through the negative, you won't get anything happening. It has to be a complete circuit, a complete circle. Once you've got a circuit, then that voltage, that pressure, will start driving electricity through that circuit. And then we get a flow of electricity through all the different components and the cables. And that flow is called amps, current. Just like the current through a stream. Now, when we measure volts, we're measuring between two different parts of the circuit. We're looking for the pressure difference. That's quite an important idea. And the greater that pressure difference, the more potential it's got to actually drive current through the circuit. And in fact, some people actually refer to voltage as potential difference. So you might hear that in certain circumstances. Once we've got a circuit and we've got that pressure, that voltage to drive the current through that, the current will start going up, and we measure that in amps, and the more voltage there is, the more current will flow. The greater the pressure, it's just like with a garden hose, the more pressure you put on it, the higher the flow of water through it becomes. So there's a relationship between the two, volts and amps. You don't get amps happening on their own without any voltage. The third term that's really important to understand is resistance. We measure that in ohms, and for some reason we use the Greek symbol omega. Don't ask me why. Somebody thought it was a great idea a long time ago. Now, resistance is the resistance to that flow flowing through the circuit. So if you've got something that's a high-powered device like a big motor, it's got to have low resistance to allow the current to flow through it and for it to do a lot of work. If you've got something that doesn't want to pull a lot of power, say like an ECU, a control unit, that'll have quite high resistance and a very low current flowing through it. So you can start to see there's a relationship between all these three things, very much interlinked. Amps, volts and ohms. So I'm going to do a little experiment here. This is a little variable power supply. It allows me to control the voltage, and as I control the voltage, the current will change as well. And for a very simple circuit, I've just got it coming out the positive, going through this little light bulb and back through the negative, back to the unit there. So if I switch it on, it's currently on a very low voltage, about 5 volts, and you can see it's glowing quite dimly. And you can see the voltage and the current on the meter there. Now as I turn that up, what you'll see is that gets brighter. There's more current flowing through it, it's doing more work. And the voltage and the current are both going up. Until we get up to about 12 volts, there's a reasonable current flowing through it. If I turn the voltage down again, and as I turn the voltage down, the current goes down as well. And the bulb gets dimmer. So voltage and current, very much interlinked. You can have a lot of voltage without any current flowing if we don't have a circuit. But you can't have any current flowing if there isn't any voltage. Well, I hope that's enlightened you. See what I did there? A little bit. And keep watching the next video and we'll explain how those things are interrelated. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.